I'm Sam Clark from Solent Sports News with your 3pm update. Hampshire are well on their way to securing a third win out of 3 in the Royal London One Day Cup as they host Middlesex at the Agnes Bowl today. They are currently 100 for 9 as the first inning came to a close, with Middlesex yet to bat. The men's snooker world number 1 lost. Amateur James Cahill has knocked Ronnie O'Sullivan out of the Snooker World Championship in the first round. O'Sullivan has pulled himself back to 8-9, but went on to lose at 8-10 to the first amateur in the competition. We've got snooker expert Tom Jackson with us. Tom, so what does this result mean for the rest of the tournament?
Well, it blows it wide open completely. Everyone expected Ronnie O'Sullivan to walk it pretty much. He's done very well already this season. He's become number 1 again for the first time in 9 years, but he's out. And
how will this affect Ronnie going forward?
He said earlier this week he wasn't 100% anyway. He wasn't happy with himself, and this is only going to make that even worse as we go further into the season as well.
What does this mean for the future of James Cahill, obviously knocking out world number 1?
Well, it's the very start for him. He already beat a world number 1 last year. He's beaten Ronnie again this year. Unranked, unseeded, an amateur, the first amateur to play at the Crucible. It's all looking very good.
Do you think he could potentially go on to win the tournament?
You never know. With an upset like this, that throws everything into question. You don't know what's going to happen next, do you?
All right, thank you, Tom. Former Celtic captain Billy McNeill passed away last night at the age of 79. The Scotsman led the club to 9 successive league titles during his career and went on to make 29 experiences for his country. Charlie Nicholas, who played under McNeill at Celtic, said he was part of the family.
He was completely and utterly respected by all other football clubs, none more so than Rangers. But the Celtic image of family is still fetched in my head, although I'm getting on in my years, is going back to the Lions, to Jock, and of course Billy himself.
Southampton look to further cement their place in the Premier League survival for another season with an away trip to London tonight. A win at Watford will take them 8 points clear of the bottom 3 and 1 point closer to an extra place between them and the drop zone. Ralph Hasenhüttl is expecting an improved performance from the Saints.
I'm convinced about my team that we always can score, we always can win games, also in away games, so I'm not frightened about that game, but we must be clear that we need a better performance.
Following Manchester United's heavy 4-0 away defeat to Everton, the battle is on for the United team as they face an increasingly difficult top 4 finish. United faced neighbours Manchester City on Wednesday, and manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is confident he can turn things around.
I'm confident in my team and myself, and that I'll be ready to take this challenge on. I don't like losing, but it's a great challenge, and it's a challenge that all the managers at this club has had. When you go through bad results, you've got to still be confident enough to say, this is the way we're going to do it, and we're planning ahead.
We are now joined in studio by Man United expert Jay Palanyandi. Jay, what are you looking ahead for the rest of the season at United?
Well, last season, United conceded only 28 goals in the entire season. This season, they're already on 48 and still have yet to play Man City. So who knows what that number will end up as.
What do you think is the cause of this drop-off from last season to this season?
It's gone back to the previous manager, Jose Mourinho. The board refused to back him during the summer, where he wanted the likes of Ivan Perisic and Willian, but wasn't allowed to sign them. Toby Alderweireld was another player Mourinho wanted, an experienced high-level centre-back. Victor Lindelof has been good, but he's not enough to carry the entire defence. It also doesn't help that David De Gea is currently a shadow of his former self.
What do you see as the solution to United's season?
The solution is to get rid of a lot of the deadwood players. The likes of Jones, Smalling and Young have been underperforming for years, yet have been rewarded with new contracts by their CEO, Ed Woodward. The problem for United is how to get rid of these people, who are on high wages and long-term contracts. The same goes for Alexis Sanchez, who's on £300,000 a week. So who will buy this kind of player?
Thank you, Jay. A Hampshire club have secured playoffs. Eastleigh have secured a playoff place after a 2-0 victory against Maidenhead, thanks to goals from Paul McCallum and Mark Yates. They'll be looking to play in the Football League for the first time ever. The Southampton women have won the FA Women's Premier League South West Division 1. Maria and Spacey Cole's side clinched the title after an 8-0 win, a 17th successive win with no defeats. a record crowd of 334 people cheered at AFC Tottenham's Testwood Community Stadium. Southampton-based Francis Benali, also an ex-Saints player, commits to a 7-day fundraiser for Cancer Research UK. At 50 years old, Benali pushes himself to complete the triathlon. This will involve a 2.4 miles swimming, cycling 112 miles and finishing off with a marathon. Since leaving the football squad, he has run to every single Premier League stadium, including St Mary's. A British Formula 1 driver believes it is better to drive slower. George Russell thinks he would be better off driving at 98% instead of maximum speed. Despite impressing in the opening 3 races, Russell thinks slightly backing off would help. He hopes he can do a better job for Williams, who've had trouble at the start of the season. We are now joined by Formula 1 expert journalist Rob Lomas. Rob, what do you think of George Russell's comments?
I think logically it makes sense for him to say that, given, as you mentioned, Williams' troubles. I mean, they had issues in pre-season testing with parts for their car. So from that perspective, it does make a lot of sense for him to do that, because that way he's reducing stress on the components of the car itself and also less likely to have an accident.
And what do you make of both him and his team's chances in the upcoming season?
I think it's going to be really difficult for Williams. Okay, they still have the Mercedes engine, which is currently just about the best on the grid. But at the same time, what's the point in having a good engine if the rest of the car isn't up to scratch? And unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say this, Williams are quite frankly a shadow of their former selves.
Thank you very much, Rob. That's all from Solent Sports News at 3 p.m. See you again soon.